This is BFBS Esports Live with OJ Borge.
Well, guten Tag. Hello to Esports Live on BFBS. I am OJ Borge, I think, last time I checked, along with combat medical technician and founder and the CEO and pretty much everything else, as well as Skol Esports. It's Jonah Jupp. Buddy, how are you?
Very good, very good. Back for another week. Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, I think it's fair to say, do you know what? And I think you could testify to this. I was in a bit of a mood before this. You know, and I have this, and I was actually, part of the reason I'm in a bit of a mood was I thought I had an hour free earlier on to sneak in a bit of Call of Duty, a bit of DMZ, and it went west. The kids got home early. I had some work to do. So I think I need the next, whatever it is, 29 minutes and 11 seconds of this show just to really wind down.
Reset.
Do you find if you don't play games, you start getting a little bit more uptight? It doesn't, you get angry. You can't get rid of that stress.
Depends on the game, I guess. Some games just wind you up the board. You play. But, if you play some nice relaxing game, drop into a bit of, I don't know, a bit of Fortnite. Why not? Fortnite's out. The new season's out.
Is it?
Crazy. Everyone's back. It's also hit record numbers, by the way.
Well, do you know what? I've got a question for you about Fortnite, because I was looking at a tweet yesterday, and it's about, what's the difference then? I was watching an island expand. What's the island expanding that's happening in Fortnite at the moment? Is that people building the island out?
I think so. I don't know. It's going back to the sort of OG, the original Fortnite, and everyone's going crazy for it.
Oh, right.
I know that the record numbers this weekend of people playing. So
go on the record numbers. We love it when people break numbers when it comes to gaming, and that is what we're doing here. We're talking about the fact that games are escapism, they help us out, and this is your home for everything to do with gaming and esports within the armed forces. Now, the War Room, if you've listened to previous episodes, you'll know every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. we host that game lobby. What are we playing tonight, Jonah? You're the host, you're the king, you're the captain.
So speaking of dropping in, we are dropping in some Fall Guys today. The lobby code for today's episode of BFBS Esports Live is UBTUK. That is UBTUK.
Come on, do it army style. Give it me with the uniform bottoms.
Uniform Bravo Tango, uniform Kilo. So
there we go, love
jump on in.
If you want to play it, Jonah will be in there through the entirety of the show. Plus, we're talking to EAFC Gamer for Team 7 a.m. Emma Rose, aka Emzii. We spoke to her, I think, in season 1. We talk all things EAFC and her Gold Commonwealth Games win, and more recently her silver at the European Games. Now, it is a huge week leading up to Remembrance Sunday, and people from all over the armed forces are finding ways of commemorating it or raising money. It happens every year for good reasons. It's no different within the esports community. Now, Jonah, you and Skol are raising funds for Veterans Aid UK alongside UK Veterans Gaming. We spoke to their co-founder and managing director, Dan Penter, who was wonderful. He does great things a few weeks back. What are you doing, Jonah?
Yeah, so one of my COD players came to me and said, look, who's also serving military, came to me and said, look, we want to do something for Veterans Day. Can Skol help out? And I was like, yeah, that's fantastic. We'd love to help out. Let's do some fundraising. So I got in touch with Dan. Me and Dan speak a lot off air, and, we make sure that, we're tying in the best interest of the veterans in the armed forces. And really what we're doing now is sort of what we call a Call of Duty switcheroo. So we're going to get some duos, some pre-made, some a little bit mixed up. But there's a little entrance fee, £10, 80% of which will go towards Veterans Aid, and the other 20% will go into a prize pool for people to win in the competition. But a mix of search and destroy and a little bit of team deathmatch. And we'll come up with a winner, but all in aid of helping veterans out in the UK. So,
how much are you hoping to raise?
I don't know. So our target goal is £1,000. We are, if I give you updated numbers, I think we're about 20% of the way there now. We are getting close. We're going quite quick for how quickly we set it up. It was a bit of a rushed last minute thing. However, we've done our best, almost best, to make it as smooth as possible. And already we've got loads of people involved. And it's looking like a good match on Saturday.
So if people listening right now are thinking, right, I fancy a bit of that, I fancy donating, I fancy maybe winning the prize pool, how do they do that?
So you can head over to the Skol Esports Twitter. It's at Skol Esports _. So SKAL esports _ and look at our most recent tweet. There's a link to the Discord in there. Jump in, get involved, and if you've got a duo, bring them along, jump in game, and let's raise some money.
So, Remembrance Sunday's always been a big day for me. My grandfather served in the armed forces years and years ago, so it's always been a big day for me, but I've never served. When you are part of the armed forces, it must be a really emotive, not just day, but the whole week leading up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. you're not only representing the army and the people that have come before us, but the core that you're a part of, especially like the med corps, all the people that have died serving for the RAMC, for myself. We take the time to look back at those people and really reflect, and also the people that I've served with that I've lost, whether that be through poor mental well-being or through tour loss, for example. We lost someone out with us in Estonia, and I saw it hit the blokes pretty hard. And it's really time to really reflect on the people we've served with and the people that came before us, and remember them. It's an important time for everyone.
Yeah, I suppose when you get that moment silence, I guess that is the time that everything catches up with you. That's the time that you start to try and really process what's going on, whether you've wanted to or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for everyone in the armed forces, they know someone or they've served with someone who is no longer with us. Majority of people anyway, which is really sad, obviously. But at the same time, it's really important for us to remember those past and remember that the sacrifice that they've made are never going to be forgotten, really. So
yeah, and then obviously we're doing this as part of an esports show, so I guess if we link that back into esports, that's why it's great to have these lobbies, to have these moments that you have the chance to talk. So when you have times like Remember Sundays, at least you can talk about your feelings to people who understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, gaming, again, as I always said, brings people together. And I know the lobby definitely on Saturday will be full of people that can connect really through people past and present. But yeah, it's gonna be a really nice moment on Saturday, and I look forward to seeing and talking to a lot of the people out there. So,
excellent. I'm going to try and watch. Are you streaming it? Can I watch it?
Yeah, we're streaming it on the Skull Esports Twitch, and also OJPT. Shout out to him. He's going to be casting the games over on his Twitch. So twitch.tv/OJPT.
OJPT. Can I just say immediately that I absolutely am on board with that name. Our guest this week, let me introduce her. She is a two-time international esports champion, gold medal winner at the Commonwealth Games Esports Games, and silver medalist at the European Games Esports Championships. Emzii, it's been a while. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you very much. I think I asked this last time, but you now have more medals. Where are you keeping those medals? Are they still in the sock drawer?
The gold one's hanging up there. You can just about see it
can.
hanging off above my name, and behind some of my figures is the silver.
Just a little bit further away.
It's not buried. It's just the camera angle makes it look buried.
Keep the gold one where people can see it. Keep the silver one a little further back. Emzii, thank you so much for taking the time. I guess it's been quite a wild 12 months for you.
Yeah, it's well, if we look at the last time I was on, I just won the Commonwealth, and now I've been everywhere.
Yeah. And what has that been like then? Because, I mean, we talk about esports, the competitions are getting bigger, the competitions are getting wilder, and, the prize money's bigger. What has it been like traveling around competing?
Oh, it's unreal. It's every kid's dream, right? You get to play video games and travel the world. Who doesn't love that?
Oh, yeah. How did you get into gaming? What was your start?
Without aging myself too badly, it was Sonic and Alex the Kid on the Sega. And I just got one. My dad bought me a console for Christmas, and from there it led to Call of Duty and taking people's heads.
Yeah. Well, Emzii, don't worry about the aging yourself. I was talking about Monkey Island last week, which is a game that came on about 7 floppy disks. So if you're talking about aging yourself, that's me immediately. You're part of Team 7am. What's Team 7am? Is that what time you'll go to bed?
Yeah, it's actually a time we get up at.
Other end of the day, sorry.
It's 2 24-hour shifts, so you sleep for 24 hours. And so that is one of the UK's esports teams. And I have recently signed as a EAFC pro and creator. It's a super awesome, fun place. It's a lot different to like my international team. It's more of a sort of, we're sort of spread all over the show at the minute, I believe. We have teams everywhere.
So, I mean, because how do you get scouted for these teams?
Well, international or for 7am?
For 7am.
7am was introductions just from people to people. So I got introduced to John, who runs 7am from Sam Cook, who does ESI. And then we had a lot of cool chats and a lot of sort of seeing if our goals aligned to what we want to do within the space. And then he eventually came back to me and said, "Look, we'd love to have you on as a player and a creator," and go from there, really.
Yeah, I mean, Jonah, the other option for getting onto a team is just create your own.
Yeah. I wasn't good enough to get on any teams. I had to make my own, and then find people about the space. No, but definitely, yeah. I mean, it's hard to get onto teams and hard to get scouted, but there's definitely people like Emzii who've worked their way up, like up the scale, and and proven, on the highest level that they can perform. And definitely it's definitely a ladder system in esports. People start at the lowest level in sort of beacon circuits and then work their way up to international level, and then they get recognized by bigger and bigger teams. But yeah, I wasn't good enough. I had to stop.
Mate, listen, I still have never been on an esports team. I've never even tried. Even if I set my own up, I'd probably still get benched by myself. If we're talking teams, Emzii, how does this compare being part of team? Actually, you didn't tell me. Why is it Team 7 AM? You never told me.
It's just the name.
Oh, is it just the name? There's no deep meaning behind 7 AM.
There's none that I know of. I mean, I've only been in it for like 2 months now. Will
you find out if there is and let us know?
Yeah, I'll text John right after.
It's gotta be the fact that everyone's going to bed.
By the time we thought of the name.
Yeah, by the time we started at midnight, it took us till 7 AM. So how does that compare, being part of Team 7 AM, to playing for Team GB in the European Games?
Yeah, it's really sort of different worlds colliding. So with the likes of GB, we were all there, and together in boot camp, together in Poland, flying over from London. If I looked to my left or right, I would have had a manager or a wellness manager or a teammate. There's always someone physically with me. Whereas 7 AM, we're dotted all over the UK and Europe. So it's more sort of Discord calls and catching up that way. But you're kind of just left to our own devices and our own space. And if we need support, the guys are there, and vice versa. And it's a lot less hands-on with 7 AM as it is with my manager breathing down my neck for GB.
Well, yeah, that's where the pressure comes in. And I want to mention the ESI Film Festival, because you made a short documentary which I've seen. It's a fabulous documentary which was award-winning. It won gold there. For people who haven't seen it, what was the documentary about? What were you trying to tell? What story were you trying to tell?
Yeah, so the theme of the film festival was diversity, inclusion, and mental health, and that's pretty much what I've been pushing ever since I fell into the sort of pro side of esports. Is we need to do more for mental health, we need to be more inclusive and more diverse. So the film was basically some clips of like me performing at the Commonwealth Games, the European Games. I got a lot of friends who are creators and casters to send in video clips, as well as why diversity is important to them in esports and what we can do to make it better. But the whole film really was just to help promote diversity in esports and positive mental health. And looking after yourself as well. Yeah.
And if people are going to watch it, because we're running out of time here, if people are going to watch this, where would they go to see it?
YouTube.com/Emzii192.
Yeah.
It's the pinned video.
Yeah. And just quickly, because I know I've spent a lot of time in Katowice over the years. You were there as well, where you took part in the European Esports Championships. Whereabouts did you compete in Katowice? Was it in the Spodek?
I think it was next door to where CS was.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it was in like a weird building with like grass on its roof.
Oh yeah, well that's the exhibition centre next to it. The Spodek, for people who haven't seen it, it's like a massive concrete UFO in the centre of Katowice. It is an absolutely wild building. I can't believe you didn't say hello. I was there.
I didn't I had no time.
I see how it is. No time for me, Emzii.
I've always time. What do you mean? I was literally just at hotel practice. I had squeezed in a couple of gym sessions, and then just competing.
Yeah, that's the esports grind for you. That's the esports grind. Thank you so much, Emzii. Sorry we've run out of time. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat to us, and let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. There, Emzii there, who is now a brace of medals, and I'm sure there'll be more on the way. Thank you so much to Emzii. Do you know the question I didn't get to, Jonah? I was going to ask her all about the fact that she's been playing EA FC 24. Now, if you don't know what that is, quite frankly, it's FIFA, or what was FIFA. What has happened? How come the name has changed?
So EA have made obviously the football game that was called FIFA for donkey's years now. But the two parties sort of failed to reach an agreement with licensing, blah 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 blah, all the boring stuff. But yeah, no longer are EA allowed to use the name FIFA franchise, which was the big reason there isn't much competition in the football game market. Obviously, before FIFA FC, there was the only sort of real competition was Pro Evolution Soccer, or PES as it was known back in the day. So FIFA wanted to increase their fees, and then obviously EA went, no, we're not doing that. But yeah, FIFA are going their own route now. That's where EAFC has come in, sort of their version of what was FIFA. But FIFA are choosing a new game producing company or game manufacturer. I don't know how you. Is that my word? Right term? I don't know.
Yeah.
God forbid.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so they're going with someone else this time, and they said it is going to be the most realistic and legitimate football game to be released, and it will be the only one on the market that people want to play. So,
well, they would say that, wouldn't
they?
They would say that. Yeah. See, I remember making a documentary on the history of football games, where they all came from, how they started, and the story of how FIFA started out in the first place, how they got the names, is quite wild, because FIFA didn't know what they were doing and just gave away the rights, and that's how it ended up there. But the idea, because it was just a load of Canadian guys making the game in Canada who thought, we'll make this, and they got it out there. But I saw this. There was a Japanese video game years ago who was a programmer who had to make a game, and it was to try and make the game and the players sound like English players, and he just made them up. And obviously this is a Japanese speaker, and some of the names were brilliant. Mario McWerlane, Paul Chamberlain, Kevin Nogilny, Scott Deroot. My favourite one is Willie Dustis and Jerome Gride. And this was just a guy having a crack at just, what are these names, man? Fabulous names. Yeah. Do you know what I'll do? I'll chuck them on my Instagram if you want to see them. The best one, okay, I'm going to do the best one, is... I think it's fine to say. Look, this is an actual name. Radic was one guy's name that he put on there. Actual name from a game as well. Do you think it'll be as successful? Do you think it'll be as successful now it's called EAFC? Do you think it'll matter that it's not called FIFA? I've always called them FIFA.
I don't think it doesn't matter what the name's called. I think whatever it is on the tin doesn't matter. But the game content, I mean, EA have done such a good job over the last few years that FIFA have got some competition there.
They are too real for me. Those games, I still like it where you could tackle the where you could tackle the goalkeeper and get sent off. That was my heyday.
Yeah, definitely the Space Force. We're definitely going to provide the smoke for them today, and we're definitely taking our trophy home.